on comment-wise only members, but with that said, everybody can watch. This is the Mars Uranus conjunction. Okay, Mars conjunct Uranus is a very volatile energy. I feel like in some ways, I mean, I have this energy actually in opposition, but I will say that it's not as close. So for me, I'm actually somewhat happy about that. But this is a transit. Okay. Mars conjunct Uranus is the Rihanna dating Chris Brown kind of energy. I really feel that way. Um, Let me see. I want to make sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, yeah. This is live. Okay, good, good, good. I want to make sure this is actually going. Yep, and I can hear myself. Okay, cool. So Uranus conjunct Mars is an energy that, first off, this particular Mars and Taurus is run in Vedic astrology by Kritika and Nakshatra, and is run by the sun. And not only is it run by the sun, it's run by Saturn, which wants us to build, it wants us to construct, it wants us to free the lower people to some extent, right? And so what does all this mean? Let's dip into some of it, right? I like to think of this right now as the Rihanna is dating Chris Brown, and I don't know, I didn't check if she actually has this, but it doesn't matter because her personality and the relationship that her and Chris Brown went through will explain it to perfection. All right. At the end of the day, you know, all you see is Rihanna basically got her face punched in. Like, that's the simple reality, right? At the end of the day, you see the pictures. Now, the thing about Mars Uranus, why I bring up that example is, especially if this is happening for women, and if not women, people who are acting in their toxic feminine energy. This is something that is very important. If you are a male in your toxic feminine energy, if you're a female in your toxic feminine energy, then it really doesn't matter. You're going to kind of fit this description that I'm about to explain next. And this is this Rihanna level provocation. Okay, this is needless provocation. This is literally provoking people. One reason is for insecurity. Another reason is because you need a constant excitement. You need to constantly experience thrill. And so right now, Mars is in Taurus, okay? Uranus is in Taurus. But the ruler of both those two Taurus symbols is who? Leo. Venus is in Leo. Venus is the ruler. Now, at the time this is going down, let me be sure, yes, at the time this is going down, the exaltation of Taurus is in Scorpio, okay? So now we're talking about the opposite sign. Scorpio doesn't really like being in the moon. Uranus doesn't like being a Taurus. So there's a lot of ways to make mistakes. When I see this is a lot of mistake type energy. It's the kind of energy where if you're not careful, you could end up in jail. If you're not careful, you can end up killing somebody. I feel like I haven't done one of these transits in a long time, but I feel like this is very important because I've been early stages feeling this energy. You can end up hitting your partner or your spouse, or even a boss, even somebody who's an authority figure in your life, whether it's your father or a literal boss that you're working with. You can end up literally hitting them and physically wounding them based off of aggression built up in your family line and DNA. Family line DNA, because this is Taurus, this is foundational conditions. For Cancer's conditions gets programmed. This is the conditions of people who have been born and died well before you ever existed. Okay, so with this, you know, I feel like, one, I do gotta give a warning out. You know, not everything is nice, peachy, and rainbows, but I also like to stick to that optimistic approach as well. So we're gonna talk about that. This is tremendous energy for your career. If you can redirect this level of violence, this level of rage that Mars is gonna want to put out from Mars and Taurus, which is sustained anger, being antisocial when you need to go ahead and speak up, when you need to talk to somebody, when you need to share these insecurities that you're experiencing. This type of energy, thank you, I see y'all for hitting that thumbs up and like button, I appreciate y'all. This energy needs to be expressed, especially whether through art as well as through your career, if you're trying to politically advance yourself, and if not necessarily in politics, but in the spaces of being known for a natural talent that you have. it's a tremendous time to go ahead and do that. You'll have a lot of luck. In all sincerity, you'll have a lot of progression that can happen in this. If you have a lover, this is the kind of lover where this is a foreign lover, right? So if I use the Rihanna example again, Rihanna's from Barbados, Chris Brown, I'm imagining he's from the United States, right? But that's a foreign connection and relationship. And that provocation energy, if you're single, you might find yourself wanting to have a sexual encounter with a foreigner who, there might be a one-off situation. And especially if you go in it too fast, you go in it with your eyes closed and just thinking with your we're gonna say we're gonna say that plum, that juicy juicy plum, right? Or that eggplant, right? Depending on who you are, woman or man. So this can easily equate to violent and unpredictable men and having attraction with violent and unpredictable men. So be careful with that. And now, again, when I say men, I say women, I need we all to understand that this is about the masculine energy, the feminine energy, meaning you can have violent interactions with the masculine energy, all right, or violent interaction with the feminine energy. So this is important. So what you want to do with this, you want to focus on attraction. Understand what alternate social circles are you attracted to, and take the time to plan out your interactions. Take time to plan out your intentions. And consciously put energy, because Mars by default is an unconscious energy. So Taurus is the energy that likes to consciously decide what its intent is before it decides to move, so that instead of moving, it attracts. But Mars wants to move in order to attract. Taurus wants to stay still in order to decide what it wants to attract. So the conflicting energies of Mars and Taurus are already there. The conflicting energies between Uranus and Taurus are already there. The conflicting energies of the moon, which Taurus exalts in, is in Scorpio, which is already debilitated. Okay, and to top all of this off, who's ruling Taurus in all of these situations is going to be Leo, because Venus is in Leo. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, so Venus in Leo. So Leo can be very dramatic in public displays about literally violently cursing out or possessing their partner or their lover, the person they're sexing, the person they're attracted to, the person of the object of their affection, okay, can violently want to speak up about, this is my girl, this is my, so this is the type of energy, if you understand or you feel like you're dating a cheater or somebody who's unfaithful, it's going to be a very vulgar time. Be very careful and make sure you put a stop, a limit, because Mars is about putting boundaries up, limits, especially in Taurus, about this is what I'm worth and you're not going to touch me. This is what I'm worth. You're not going to speak to me like that. And so what happens a lot of times with this, when people try to take the higher road but in the lower frequencies, it turns into antisocial behavior. So this is what you need to watch for right now with people who are in a position of authority over you. Again, whether it's a boss or there's a parent, and you can extend that authority, whether that's the person you're dating and relating and they have an authority over you, you got to be honest about that. Understand that right now, these people in the toxic forms will take the moment to want to control what you say, what's possible. They'll try to gaslight you. They'll use the dark feminine energy to manipulate, to withhold what you want when you want it. And the message that I'm getting right now is to make sure we transform this into the positive energy, which the hummingbird just came to actually express and share. And the positive frequency of this, to my opinion, is putting this production level energy, this rage, this anger, this violence, into creating something that is sustainable, long lasting, and ultimately making you happy. Literally, something that also will likely be a risk. It will be something that you'll have a lot of change happening, coming in, coming out. Things will go left, they will go right, they'll go up, down, they'll go diagonal, they'll go backwards, go forward. There'll be a lot of change happening within your career, within your lifestyle choices, and the methods that you do to produce something worth something tremendous, worth something of value. So, and again, in the positive, focus on your intention, focus on where you want to go, what you want to do, why you want to do it, and the impact that you want to do it on. That will help you shift this angry energy to something that ultimately will help you attract alternative social circles that at the end of the day, they will put you in the advancement of your career. They will help you advance your gains and your recognitions and help you collaborate with the proper connections that will bring you ultimately fulfillment. Okay, the star card type energy, the sun card type energy. This is a chance to connect with very powerful people, very powerful ambassadors, politicians, presidents, and if not that, people within social circles who are leaders that can ultimately take your talent you have and help you monetize that talent and create an alternative source of income, which is one of the things that Uranus is able to do as an Aquarian energy. Aquarius is about alternative income sources as well as multiple income streams. And so this is a positive that I see that can happen with this. Now, be careful as well with being the cozy and safe. When you find yourself having a cozy and safe and a stable source of income, you got to be very careful with taking that and ultimately creating needless provocation and not feeling safe with being stable and a sustainable source of income, and ultimately causing drama, especially with Venus and Leo. That's the lower frequency I want to warn you about. Don't be causing drama. There's a terrible energy of trouble starting to feel like it's rising, and you wanting to create trouble that doesn't actually really exist. So that's something that again, on the lower frequency, don't work with. If I put that and I reverse that to the higher frequency, honor what makes you feel safe. Honor the income streams that you have. Be grateful for where you're going, how you got there. Take the time to instead reflect and pause and be like Taurus, which ultimately the positive side to me with Taurus is when this drama starts to happen, you can sit there, watch it rise and actually pinpoint the source, the root, which is Taurus going back into Scorpio in your family's ancestry. Now again, the moon exaltation of Scorpio right now is going to be during this day when it goes exact. Conjunction, understand conjunction means a collision. There's an initial Mars and Uranus they will hit each other. And then they'll realize after the initial hit, wait a minute. We're not fighting, we're friends. We love each other. We want the best for each other. We actually resonate. We actually feel the same about the situations, even though we go about these things in different ways. So the initial will feel like, whoa, right? Because somebody just comes up into your personal space, environment, it feels like a threat. But in reality, realize it's like that friend you make who at first you hated them, and then you learn to love them. It became your best friend ever. And you're like, man, when I first met Keisha, when I first met Jerome, I really didn't like him. I really didn't like her. But then they ended up becoming my best friend. We just got off on the wrong foot and we misjudged each other. We preemptively decided who they were in our lives. And that's where, the projection energy of Mars and Taurus rule in the 12th and the 7th house. And that's where the projection energy and their irrational fears about having a harmonious partner, harmonious relationship, harmonious connection can fool us. We want to buy what our parents would have thought of this person when they actually met someone of harmony. If you're not used to being in a stable, safe, and harmonious relationship, it's easier to look at that person and choose the lower frequency because your parents, your grandparents, parents always chose a generational and systemic format of this is what it is. Taurus is about staying the same. I'm going to maintain that behavior. I'm going to maintain my attachment to the image of what it means to relate and date with a partner, aka depending on your family's line, is more likely and easy to choose the toxic, unless you grew up in a very positive, self-affirming, high self-worth family dynamic. Then you likely will stick to that same self-affirming, high priority, really affectionate, loving, caring relationship with people who attract wealth and abundance and all these positive things that you want and you want to attribute to your life. So if you grew up to that, Taurus will stick to that as well. So just understand that I have to paint the picture for both sides, that Taurus will stick to whatever it is shown, whatever it has been conditioned to do, whatever its family for generations before you were born always have done. So this is the thing where it will show you what needs to break down. It will show you what troubles you about being safe, about feeling cozy, about feeling stable, and things that disrupt and threaten that stability. It will clearly show you what needs to dissolve, break away, and deconstruct so that you can reach the purity, the intimacy of the true worth and admiration that you deserve, that you want, that you're willing to work for, that you're willing to pause and take the long road, the tremendous route to get there. And that's where, again, you know, you got to be careful with the needless provocation, because Mars is a quick sign, but Mars in Taurus is slow to act. And that's when you can start to use the 12th house and the 7th house to watch, to observe. How do I move differently? How do I stop the drama? How do I stop going overboard? How do I stop overreacting and instead witness and stillness and peace and love? Self-examine my truth, my light, my conditions, my subconscious programs, and the ones that match and the ones that don't match, the ones that make sense to me and the ones that I need to be more intentional with. And so thank you for hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. I do appreciate that. So with this, I'll say the last couple things that I have here. The tendency to go far away, to jump on a plane, pack a bag, and keep that bag packed where you're always ready to go, where you never unpack your bag, you never settle in, you never, that energy is very present during Mars conjuncting Uranus, right? Where, you know, again, from the positive side of this, it's learning who are the people you feel safe enough to unpack your bags with, which can be your emotional baggage. It also could be your financial baggage and troubles that you've gone through, your irrational fears around money, and, you know, how your accounting, financing, and banking is set up. And ultimately, feeling safe enough to unpack that bag with somebody and share that fear, share your perceived weakness for accounting. And you watch the positive, you now have a massive amount of energy and assertion to take the high road, become tremendously conscious, and actually act in ways that are sustainable when it comes to building your wealth in a slow, stable, and ultimately joining the economy, okay, in a way where you understand the rules and the laws of the game. Because again, remember, this is happening in Kritika, and Kritika is ruled by the sun. There's very powerful energy, but it's happening in the particular placement of Saturn, which is about understanding the rules and how you can use the rules to your advantage to create wealth. And that's one of the major things, something stable that will last. Now, what may also come up, okay, is two things. If you are approached by an authority figure, again, a boss, a parent, somebody you're dating and relating that feels like an authority to you, what could happen is you could preemptively provoke them to try to show that I'm not afraid of you, and you want to kind of King Kong beat your chest, and I'm not afraid of you, and let me prove that I'm not afraid of you by taking initiative, because that's what Mars wants to do. Now understand that you have to witness, again, the subconscious program of what family members wanted to take the initiative, move on blah, 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 in the way your grandpa, your grandparent, grandpa would act, or vice versa, your grandma's grandma would act. And what could have happened, you could be responding where in this lifetime, you've never been hit, you've never been struck, you've never been beaten, but maybe your great-great-great-grandmother has. And you may react in a way where you're like, you're not going to control me anymore. You're not going to put me in this. And it's a very subtle, unconscious energy that's very difficult to comprehend. And it could even have come down to, on the you know, in a very painful way, the insecurity of a man or woman, whoever, doesn't actually matter, because I've seen both situations manifest. In molestation, in situations of rape, where, again, if it didn't happen in your life, you can respond in a way where it has. And it is 12th house related, Mars in the 12th house. So it may not, you may not comprehend, why am I behaving this way? Why am I acting like a woman who has been, you know, violated or molested, anything like this? And it's time to clear your vision, as you see me wiping my eyes. It's time to clear your vision, and this eye is the left eye, which is actually Pisces. It's time to clear the subconscious program and the irrational fear and realize the reality, which Taurus is and what it wants. It wants to look at the reality that you can let that energy go and not behave like that, and take a moment to understand, okay, if I was a part of this timeline, maybe that's how I would act, but I'm not, because reality says that in my real life, this has never happened to me. And this is the kind of energy, again, where like, even if I'm a male, I've never hit a woman in my life. It's just a flat fact. But let's say my grandparents, and the men did hit the woman because they felt like they were losing control, right? And or they felt like, oh, I was provoked by that woman to get aggressive. And I feel this energy like, I want to hit my woman. I feel this energy where I want to do something abusive, violent, for me to just be like a Taurus and be still in connection, in that condition, and realize it's not who I am. It's not what I want to do. It's not even how I feel. Matter of fact, it's completely irrational to react, behave like this in a situation where it doesn't call for that. Like, what is going on? But the stillness lets me know, no, this was somebody from my past life, a father's father who did cross that line. And so there goes the punishment. So you got to be careful with this, where there could be a Taurus and Uranus Uranus and Taurus can represent your nervous system going through a shock. And Taurus is about things happening permanently, but Uranus wants to get things to become impermanent and respect impermanence, that anything could change on the dime. Any shock can boom your nervous system. So, understand that permanent shock to your nervous system, if you feel nervous in situations where you feel like you shouldn't, it's probably not your baggage. It's probably you picking up a projection or an alternate reality where you've experienced that pain, that shock, that violation, that trauma. But through self-examination, you not only let it go for yourself, but you let it go for all of your ancestors and your grandchildren and the great-grandchildren to come. And that's where I think this is a tremendously high conscious energy to heal, evolve beyond the moment. Okay. Now, with that also said, women, own what you say and own what you do. Especially when you understand that something you're saying and something you're doing is driving your partner mad. It's driving them fury to anger, to rage. It's driving them to become distracted in what you may be complaining about, whether oh, stop playing video games, once you get a real job, once you start your life, once you do something special, get off your phone looking at the women on the social media. These are two examples. I'll stop there because I don't really live neither of those existence, but I'm trying to relate with what's being told to me in a moment. And I hear things like men playing video games all day long and men on their cell phone all day long. I hear things like that to distract themselves. So if you're a woman or if you're a man, and again, this is about energy, feminine energy, masculine energy. So it doesn't really matter if you're a woman or a man, quite frankly. But what matters is that you recognize what you're trying to distract yourself from. What fury are you going through that is bringing you a greater sense of anxiety and is actually helping you recreate through this self-fulfilling prophecy something that you don't want, right? And a reality that you prefer not to exist. And for men, or the masculine energy on the other side, don't leave your partner in anxiety. Don't leave them feeling like what you do next is completely unpredictable, and controlling the woman or the feminine energy in the way where your direction is maintaining a certain sense of unpredictability, because masculine energy is about being clear, direct, and have a tremendous focus on clarity of here's where we're going. So it's about telling your partner, because Mars is going to be about your sex life and how you actually take action in your relationships and partnerships. For the masculine energy, even if you're a woman who has the more masculine role, telling your partner, look, we're going through hard times right now. That's clean and clear. But at the end of the day, I need you to know without a doubt that we're going to survive through this. We're going to get through this. We're going to, with our stillness and our meditation, our time to pause, break, and look at everything happening, we're going to move beyond this. And we understand that every time through reality, which Taurus is, we get stronger, we get better, we become more indestructible, we become completely unstoppable. And so it's about using your masculine energy during this time frame, this Mars conjunct Uranus, to clearly state that, share that, and take away the instability. Because again, Uranus wants to deconstruct what's unstable. So if you go ahead and you do that, guess what? It begins to stabilize and you move beyond the illusion. I've been seeing a lot of people getting size in their eyes, left and right. Pink eye is another way to say it. If you get a pink eye, it's because you are seeing separation. Mars is what separates. You are seeing separation even if it is not true. You are seeing that you are not loved even if it is not true. You are seeing something that is false, and your eyes trying to protect you from seeing what is not true, from seeing the falsities so that you can distract yourself, ultimately find your way back to what is real, what is authentic, what actually exists. So this is about transmuting all of this anger, this hate, this rage, this fury, this distraction energy into production that creates freedom, especially freedom to travel and travel abroad. Actions to take your physical body in a plane, on a boat, to another country, literally because of Mars in the 12th house, or taking your business online to where you can gain and attract money from anyone in the world. Doesn't matter where they're from. So that's another way to go ahead and actually manifest this. You could be living in Mexico and manifest funds and attract it from Vietnam, to attract it from Antarctica. That's really something that mattered or possible, right? From the scientists living there doing God knows what experiments. Or you're living in Switzerland, you're attracting money from the United States. That's the point. So it's about transmitting that distraction-based energy and actually creating something and producing something that is valuable and sustainable. And that's the magic there. Now, the last thing happening is to own your immature, antisocial behavior in situations that require you to actually speak up and talk out, because Venus in Leo is running through the 3rd house and the 10th house, which is about being mature in your communication with your partner, with your lover, because Venus is a lover. Venus in Leo is definitely a lover. A lot of immature relationships will probably end and cut away during this time. If you're dating somebody who is using control tactics and manipulation tactics to go ahead and shock your nervous system to loving relationship where you may be in love bombing type situations and other things like that, those relationships are probably going to end during this time. I'm just going to say that out loud and up front. But the ones that are real and secure and worth it will last, and they'll get stronger through this next challenge and tribulation. And so what's important in order to do that is, if you're willing to take your relationship to the next level, own what has been immature about your behavior and how you have been antisocial when you need to be social, and be courageous to say the truth in a mature, adult-like fashion. And actually recognize that you've chosen to be an outsider in certain situations and scenarios with needless provocation. So if and all that is true, then make the right choice, grow up, and decide that you want a real love, for a lasting love, one that continues and is stable through no matter what the situation you go through. And at the end of the day, this will become the good type of unpredictability that at the end of the day, you're like, wow, my girlfriend surprised me with a trip to France. Wow, my boyfriend surprised me with a new car. Wow, whatever it is, because Venus in Leo is a very giving sign, and it would love to give gifts. It would love to use its status as well to go ahead and purchase you something that you really want. So that's another positive way that you can go ahead and look at that as well. So hit the thumbs up and the likes button. This is your AstroShaman Pernell Bobby, hitting you with a live. Thank you. I made this members only because this was just too important for me to get too distracted in chat. But Venus in Leo was on the way. Mars square Uranus is here. Mars is in Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus. Venus is in Leo. Don't scratch the lion transit. And what that means is, if you know you can't beat the lion up, if you know you can't conquer the lion or make friends and make love with the lion, which is really what the transit wants you to do, so you can stop acting in an unstable way, in an insecure way, in a way that you need to provoke or you feel like that because of conditionings, instead of the truth of who you are, which is a loving, caring person who wants admiration, affection, okay? And you want to adore somebody, an object of your affection, whether it's a person or a thing, a cat, a dog, an actual human, a lover, an authority figure in your life, your father. You really want the admiration and, love from them. So don't be antisocial. Speak up and say that in a mature way. Tell them what the truth is. This is very important for your parents. Tell them the truth. Don't tell them, what your silent treatment and gray stonewalling narcissistic response mechanisms will want to do. Other than what is very positive, grown and mature. And that's what I have for you in this transit. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and likes button. We'll see you soon, baby.